Welcome to Reunite with Self Podcast. I'm your host, Ruken. Here, we will be discovering and unraveling what is truly holding you back. We will put the puzzle together and give you clarity on how and what you can do to create massive shift in your life so you start creating the life you always envisioned for yourself. There is no more waiting. Whether it is liberating from dysfunctional family patterns or parenting tools and tips that actually make the difference, we will be diving into the truth and core of things that are simple and which yet no one talks about. I will be sharing with you all the things that would have changed my life massively if I heard any one of these episodes. A new world is awakening, and true bliss, harmony, and peace is possible on this earth. And my mission is to bring you closer to that, one step at a time. In this safe space, I will hold your hand and give you courage and certainty that you can shift anything and everything in your life. It is time we break the pattern. Whether you want to be the parent you never had or make a shift in your life so you don't play small any longer, you will find the support and guidance in this space. My intention is for you to find answers within yourself while you listen to this podcast, so you feel the bliss of reuniting with your true essence, with self, with so much love and compassion and courage. From my heart to yours, let's keep it rockin'. My beautiful listener, thank you for being here. As the title suggests, today's episode is all about parenting teenagers. This is for teenager parents or who will become parents to teenagers one day, or maybe even better, if you were a parent of a teenager and now they may be adults. And I'm sure from the conversation we will have today, you're going to have takeaways that you can apply now, even now in your life, if you have adult kids. And if you don't have kids, and if you don't know if you will have kids, this still will be so beneficial for you. Because when I talk about parenting, it is actually about the main thing is always us being a parent to ourselves, us parenting the inner child, us seeing what actually happened when we were kids, when we were teenagers. So it's really healing to hear these episodes, even if you're not a parent, because you were a child once. So let's begin. If you are a parent of a teenager, and if you are worried about who they hang out with, if they have friends you don't really approve, or your daughters or sons, your child's behavior does not really make you happy, you might have worries about if they are dating a guy or a girl you don't really approve, or you don't know what's happening and you want to know. Anything that you feel as to, you say to yourself, like, I don't know what to do about this. Like, I cannot get to him. I cannot get to her. Sometimes I can get to him or her, but I just want to be connected. Truly deeply connected to my child, to my teenager child, or have the chance to build something now so we can have a true deep connection once he or she is older. Because first of all, we have to accept that a teenager is going through a lot, and it's actually a natural and maybe a healthy thing if they are kind of a rebel in some ways, like not in a way that will harm themselves, but if they're not accepting everything you want them to do, or if they're giving you a hard time, or if they're not really happy when you ask them to do something that they don't want to do, basically, if they are not saying yes or accommodating all your requests, I believe it's a very healthy thing. it's the natural thing. Does not mean that it's easy for you, okay? It doesn't mean that it needs to be easy for you. It can be challenging for you, and that's totally natural as well. It's like the roles that you have in that moment, the dynamics. This is all natural. So you might be challenged and they might be challenged, but I think the most important thing is to have the tools that help you to understand them in a different way. And sometimes the smallest things that we can do, but that's like never talked about. And we're going to discuss all of that here in this podcast, not just this episode, but in this podcast. The smallest thing that you can do makes a huge difference in relationships, especially if your child is going through adolescence, if they are teenagers, if they're becoming more of an individual, if they're in that journey rather than, just being a child. Their interests start changing, their aura starts changing. It's just very different as they are teenagers, as you would know if you are a parent of a teenager or if you will be soon. So we will be talking about things that are not talked about in society in this podcast. And I am an empath and I feel kids so deeply. I feel teenagers so deeply. And what happens usually is I see a parent and I see a teenager, and the thing that the teenager is longing for is something so simple for the parent to actually give them. But just because we are not equipped with this stuff, with this kind of empathy of what a son, what a daughter would long for from their parents, from their father, from their mother, the simple stuff, but things that might be challenging for you to see. So we're going to discuss these things, and I hope you're going to go away with things like that you never thought of, or that just makes sense to you, and it will make it easier for you and for them. And I believe the stuff that we will explore in all the parenting episodes, they are such a big gift. The things that we will explore here, if you as a parent apply any of them, not weekly or monthly, I'm telling you, some of the things that we will explore, if you apply them in your relationship with your child once, twice, 3 times, even like maybe not even more than 5 times in their lifetime, it's going to make such a huge impact, because these will be the things that you will look back to your teenager life, to your childhood, that you will see, oh my God, like this exactly is something I never had. 1, that you never had. 2, that was such an easy thing for your parents to give you. They were actually, does not mean that like if they're narcissist or something, of course, that's why they're not giving that to you. But if like I'm talking about just like a compassionate person who wants to find a way. The second thing is that, yeah, they would be able to give that to you very easily, but something that you never had. And the third thing, you will realize that you will look back and see that if they gave you these things once in a while, maybe like 2 times or something, you will know that it would have made such a huge impact in your life. It would make such an influence in your life, like, such a big support from behind you, like pushing you towards life. So you get much more momentum and you don't waste your time with this and that, and you don't for example, you don't lose time with self-doubt. You just go for that thing. You go for it, and you go for it in a way that is aligned with your heart. You fully show up, like you don't care. You feel courage. Not that you don't feel scared, but you would feel courage and go for the things that lit you up. You're gonna realize all of this, and that's why I believe you're going to want to apply these things even more for your child, because you will see how much of an impact they will do for them. So let's begin. And in all honesty, it's 11 p.m., past 11 p.m. right now. So my voice might be a little cracking, or deep. I might cough or something. So I'll just take rests and drink lots of water. So it won't be disturbing for you. So as teenager parents, we will explore today 3 things that will change everything. So number 1, things in life, things we tolerate, things we call love, or the partners we choose are results. They are not the cause. So why am I saying this? If we see our teenager child, our teenager daughter, let's say, date a guy that we don't want them to be with because we see how toxic they are, how they're treating her well, how maybe even her behavior has changed, or how her mood has changed. You can see that it's not affecting her well, but she's continuing with it and you don't know what to do. Again, the same thing with your son, with someone they're dating, or it's just the friends they hang out with. I want to tell you that it might be hard to swallow, but I'm sure if you are a compassionate, conscious parent who want to be the best parent they can be, so you break the pattern in your family, it will be easier for you to realize this and make a change, make a difference, and approach the situation in a different way, because you will realize something in your own story that will link things. So the partners that we choose in life, and it doesn't need to be a serious partner. When I say a partner for a teenager, it's just someone that they'd be dating, having a crush, just hanging out with or something. Or if these are friends you don't like, or anything that really bothers you, what they choose in their life. These are things that are not the cause. These are the results. So the things that we tolerate in life, and even as a teenager, the things that we tolerate outside of our home are actually the things that we are familiar with. If we are not familiar with, and let me explain this more clearly. If this toxic boyfriend or girlfriend is doing something that you have not done to your child, so you cannot really understand, that's why it seems to be so different for you, and you want your teenager to cut that BS. The thing is, when I say we tolerate things that are familiar to us, is this, and you can think about your own adult life for this as well, even your own relationships, like ex-relationships, your ex-friendships, co-workers, and everything. The things that we tolerate in life makes us feel something that is so familiar that they hit home. So it doesn't need to be necessarily same kind of behavior or same kind of personalities, same kind of abuse. It doesn't need to be the same story, similar type of people. So if your daughter is dating someone and you just don't want her to even be talking to this guy, and if you are a mom, it would be a good thing to start with instead of focusing on that relationship and trying to change it and trying to like manipulate the situation, it would be a great place to begin to see your relationship with your child when they were babies, toddlers, and the relationship of your partner. Because most probably, if you're concerned about your daughter and you are like truly like an empath or a sensitive mom, like you're conscious and you're doing the best you can, and you know in your heart like it doesn't really have anything to do with you, with your relationship with your daughter, it would be a great place to begin with the relationship of the father and the teenager daughter. You might be separated from your ex, the father of your child. You might be divorced. You might be with someone else right now. Or you might be with the father of your child. Or you might be just single. So it's actually an opportunity for you and even your teenager daughter to see what was up in her childhood. The fact that she's hanging out with that person, although he might treat her this way or that way, although he might make her feel like not enough, unworthy, like trash. Do not assume that just because this guy is an extreme example of with their behavior, that it's just like a new thing in her life. It's just that she's tolerating something that she should know she doesn't deserve. We do not tolerate things that are below the degree to which we were abused, felt like not enough, criticized. Like the important thing here is not the story, but the feeling. So if we were not felt good enough by our father, consciously or unconsciously, whatever it may be, or like you might even have like a bad relationship with your ex, and you might like realize like all of a sudden, oh, like they were treating me like trash, and how did my daughter get that? And we can go deeper into like examples as well. But what I want to explain here is the cause of the problem is usually things that are under our nose. They are, so because it's more difficult, it's more challenging for you to try to change the relationship of your teenager daughter directly, trying to manipulate the situation or have them make a better choice. That is not going to solve her problem in the long run. Our goal is for her to have the self-worth, the ability to see what's right and what's wrong, not even right or wrong, but her ability to see this is what I'm worth and this is just like not acceptable, or for her to see this is my boundary and this person is crossing my boundary. We only tolerate things that we are familiar with. The person making us feel not worthy, not enough, is such a familiar feeling that we felt from one of our parents, both of our parents, our caregiver, someone close to us. In a very different way, by the way, like in a very different story. And usually that's why we attract these people and we tolerate them for a longer time, because it is very hidden, like the story seems so different. That's why it sometimes takes longer time for us to realize, oh my God, like I have attracted exactly the same relationship that I had with my mom, with my father. So this would be a great place to begin. And what are you going to do about it? So let's say you realize that with your ex, with your still husband maybe, with your ex-partner, whatever, the father of your child did not have a very connected relationship, or you can see now that maybe they were dismissive, the father was dismissive, or not really empowering your child, or not connecting, or not validating their emotions. They were maybe not fully present. I mean, like not physically, but emotionally, maybe not even physically. So this is a great place to begin. And what it will do for your child is when one of the parents realizes this and actually takes action, and there are things to do, and we will explore that on another podcast, on another episode. When you actually realize what's happening, wow. Like what a gift that is for a teenager daughter. Imagine you as being a teenager and your mom figuring out what the cause of the problem is. Not focusing on the guy, not focusing on your boyfriend, not focusing on that situation, not focusing on the fact that you should like dump him, not see him again, that you should be better, whatever. Not doing that. But what a gift if a mother realizes that's actually only one of the results, and that is just so natural. So I always love going to the cause of things. I don't care about like trying to solve the results. It's like swimming against the current if you're trying to solve the results. And partners are results in life. They're not the cause. And when I say like the cause and result, we can think of suffering. They're not the cause of suffering. Yes, they cause a lot of bad stuff. They cause a lot of suffering, but I'm talking about the ending the suffering for once and for all and changing the quality of your life. So it would be a good idea to go back to see, first of all, how your teenager son or daughter is feeling in that situation. Like, what can it be coming from? What kind of feeling? Is it low self-worth, not feeling enough? Like, how are they feeling in that situation in the end, although they might be choosing to do that? And then having the intention to see, and with an open heart, with courage. It requires courage for sure. But when you're courageous, when you do the difficult things that no one else does, your child is going to have a life so wonderful. They're going to thrive so much in their adult life, like no one's business. They're going to have that unique life that everyone looks up to and say, like, what do they have? Like, what's that special thing that they have that they can create this life? It comes from small things. It does not come from big things. Yes, parenting is very challenging. It requires like so much stuff. It requires so much from you. It requires you to show up, and it's not comfortable. It will be uncomfortable, but that is a good sign. And thinking about things in a different way will be a gift for them that they have you as a parent. You look at things differently. And you might actually start doing things that start making a difference for them. Like you can see it easily with their energy and their attitude towards you. And we will do different episodes on actually like what to do. But first of all, I want to create these question marks, these things that maybe you will not even need to hear the other episodes. Maybe you will figure out, this is what I got to do. This is like something that they had as a child, and I got to make a difference here. I got to repair. I got to do something. So this would be a good place to start. So let's go to the second one. Let's say your daughter or your son is having a hard time about anything, school, friends, sports, exams, like friends, like whatever it is. They're having a hard time and you want to do something because you are a parent and you want them to feel better. This is all natural. But I believe in these situations, I think what really makes the difference for your child is giving them space, holding space for them, and giving them space to feel those feelings. Instead of trying to change the story in their head about the thing, instead of trying to change their emotion about it, which can be so damaging. And you can think back of your own childhood, teenage years, instead of trying to change their emotions, such as like if they're feeling sad, trying to light them up and dismissing their emotion, like that they should not feel that. If one of them, like if your teenager child is feeling anger and you're so scared of anger because you're scared that it's going to like explode or cause something. It's maybe subconscious, like you don't even know why you're scared of anger or why you think they should not feel anger, or not even thinking this, but your reaction in that moment is for them to calm down and not feel anger or not, hurt themselves by feeling the anger. Instead of trying to change their emotion, instead of trying to change the story in their head, what is really amazing and what is, again, a true gift for your child that's going to be so influential in their life is actually letting them feel that feeling. This is, I think, maybe one of the top 3 things that change everything for a person, for an individual, for a soul coming to this earth. Top 3 for sure. I am an empath. I am a highly sensitive person, although I don't like to call myself anything because I can be anything I want any day. But I feel a lot, and kids feel so much. Teenagers feel so much, although they might show it or not. They might express it or not. They might act like they don't care. But teenagers feel a lot, and they feel things. They have emotions they're not even aware of. And what a true gift when a parent is open enough and have the courage and not even scared of their emotion. Like the parent not being scared and not being worried, even if you feel worry inside, but you don't show that to your child. I'm not saying in a way that you are lying. I don't mean that, but seeing, watching yourself, how you are reacting when they're going through a challenging emotion. And they might not be acting out or anything, they're just going through a challenging emotion and they just need an ear to listen to them. And what's so incredible is a couple of things here. When the person in front of us, at whatever age, by the way, a friend, parent, partner, whatever, when the person is present, and listens to our feelings, emotions, what we're going through, what we're thinking, feeling, whatever. The challenging emotion actually goes away much faster when the other person listening accepts it and validates it, validating the emotion. Not trying to make it better, or not trying to give you advice to make it better or feel better, or, not trying to make it better for you. What it does actually is, because you are in the safe presence of this person and you are able to express how you're feeling freely without judging yourself. Like it's a process. You don't start with that, but in time you start not judging yourself if the people around you are open and they're fine, like emotions and feelings are for feeling. What happens is like a couple of things. The emotion runs through you and leaves your body much more easily because you surrender, you don't resist it, you're not trying to change it. And what's really amazing is that if you see that your parent is not worried about you, you feel sad, and seeing your parent actually not being worried about you, like not being worried if you're going to be okay or not. Wow. Like, wow, a teenager seeing themselves through the God and the goddess, through the parent, seeing in your eyes that they're going to be fine. Them feeling this feeling is just a natural thing, and everyone goes through it, including you, by the way. So you're not perfect. It is such a gift. It is liberating. It is validating. So you don't feel shame about feeling that feeling. You become accustomed to having this experience, having the experience of feeling a challenging emotion and then being okay with it, like coming through the other side and realizing, whoa, I mean, like what a journey that was, like what I went through, how I was feeling 2 hours ago or yesterday. Like it is completely different. And imagine you practicing this as a teenager, you going through a feeling and the other person, the parents, holding space, meaning being present, looking into their eyes, even if like necessary, if they have some kind of anxiety or something, like having some kind of physical touch, but you know if it will work or not. Like always do the thing that is aligned with you. It doesn't matter what I say. You know the best for your child and for everything in your life. But I believe that like physical touch, even if it's like on their shoulder, on their arm, on their knee, like something that calms their nervous system down. So they're like, they can breathe, they can express to you, they can identify the feeling, or like step by step get to the bottom of it, like what the feelings actually is. Because they might just be confused, like overwhelmed with emotions. And once they start telling you, just like anyone else, you get to the bottom of it, like what it actually is. This is such a huge gift that you're giving them, because like so for so many reasons, they're going to expect the same thing from their partner in the future, that no matter what they're feeling, their partner is going to hold space for them and is going to be present for them when they're actually challenged by life or their emotions or feelings. They're going to expect this from the partner that they will choose for their life. Imagine this, like this is going to be something so normal for them that they're going to expect that from their relationships. They're not going to try to dismiss or repress or run away or numb their emotions. They're not going to feel shame for feeling anger or feeling sorrow or sadness or despair or hopelessness, confusion, self-doubt, unworthiness, whatever it may be. They're not going to feel shame because they're just going to start seeing that emotions, feelings pass. They don't define who you are. You might feel any kind of feeling, but it does not define who you are. So I want to know if I went through all the points on this one. Yeah, and one more thing. So when you hold space for them and when you validate their emotions, and we're going to go deeper into all of this stuff, like one by one on different episodes, but I'm just going through them now just to like create some even like inspiration for you to understand your truth in yourself or what you can do with your child in that moment, because it's going to make a difference. You feeling empathy for them when they're going through something like this, them seeing you not being worried about them seeing you trying not to change the situation or their emotion, they're going to surrender more, because they're going to see that you're not trying to change the situation. Because my feelings would escalate if the other person was trying to suppress it. Like if I was not supposed to feel anger, whoa, like it's so detrimental. It's so dangerous. It's so like, it's not humane to ask a soul not to feel an emotion, because anger, when you try not to feel it, when you feel shame, when you think you're defined by that and you're this or that kind of person, because we were never permitted to feel anger or let alone express it freely, what happens is that when you are asked not to feel anger, you actually become more angry. You try to prove why you should feel angry, and that creates the codependency, over explaining everything. And it starts damaging you. It starts damaging your soul. It made such a huge difference in my life once I started expressing my anger. It doesn't even need to be expressing the anger to that person, expressing my anger. You know what happens? I have a lot of fire in my natal chart, and I am Ayurvedic Pitta. I have a lot of fire as a person, in my personality. I have a lot of water and fire. And what happens is I might get annoyed really easily. And what I have realized, and what made such a huge difference in my life now, is that I express my anger, and it has made such a big difference in my life because I now know that I am worthy to express my feelings. When I express my anger and I laugh at myself seconds later, it lasts. I'm telling you. I have seen this, and scientifically, I think we are able to feel an emotion for only, I don't know how many seconds that was, but I think it was less than a minute. So just because we don't let ourselves, so I'm going to give you this example. This example is amazing. Now that I am an adult woman and I have discovered this thing about myself again in the last a year and a half, I love my anger. My anger changed everything for me. It's the thing that transformed everything in my life. It's the thing that made me make the decisions that makes my life so much better now. Anger is so healthy, and in a healthy way, of course. I'm not talking about inflicting that anger towards other people. I'm just talking about you as a human being, being able to be aware of your anger as well, when I express my anger, it lasts for only 15 seconds. 15 seconds or less. Sometimes 6 seconds. And then after those 10 seconds, 15 seconds, whatever, or 6 seconds, I start laughing. I don't even that feeling is not there anymore because I expressed it, because I don't feel ashamed to feel my anger. I don't have any judgment towards it anymore, because I never had that judgment, by the way. We never have judgments towards our emotions. It's just the BS given to us by our parents and society and relatives and whatever. It's just it's just a feeling for me now. And just as a feeling coming and passing and going, it's it lasts for 15 seconds, 10 seconds, and I start laughing. And I think of my 10 seconds earlier, and I start laughing at myself. Because it's just, you're just human being. And it's a part of life. And I'm sure if it was given to us, it serves a lot of things. It serves us. So you having the experience of with your parents, them being okay with your emotions, like imagine what kind of a difference it would have made for you. And maybe you were not even aware of the feelings you felt as you were a teenager, which is even, you have even more like deeper feelings that you were not even aware of, but you had feelings, even if you were aware of them or not. It just becomes more difficult if there is no space around you that you can express it, because nobody's doing that and you were never permitted to. So if you give this to your child, not every time they're going through a challenging time, not every day, not every week, like you don't even, like what's so incredible about all of this stuff that we're talking about is that even if you don't do it all the time, even if you don't have the tolerance all the time, even if you don't, you're just like, you're confused yourself, or you are angry yourself, or you can't handle that in that moment. It's not going to ruin their life if you are able, if you're open to repair, which is crucial in parenting, and if you can be present for them in times that even when you have the tolerance, it's going to make such a huge impact for them, and they're going to be like surprised. They're going to be shocked if you start acting like it's just natural. And maybe even them seeing you, hearing from you that you go through emotions as well, and it's fine, you're still that parent. So let's go to the third thing that will change everything for you with your teenager child. I'm not going to talk about a problem in this one. I'm just going to talk about just asking you a question. If you are a successful mom, a strong figure, healthy one, I hope, I'm sure. And, you have a son, you have a daughter. Even if there is no problem in that moment, but you can just think of, what does my child yearning for? Are they yearning to be seen? Are they yearning to be in a circumstance? Like, are they yearning to get approval from their father? Are they yearning to be seen by their father? So I am talking about like not even you sometimes, not by you, but by your partner. So you might be a father listening to this. You can think to yourself like, what is my daughter yearning for? My teenager daughter, what would she be yearning for that she never got from us? Maybe I think that they're getting from us because this is what we feel. We believe in her. We we believe in her, we support her, we love her no matter what. Our love is unconditional, and we see her value, like all the things. But the child needs to hear these things. And what we do so often is that we don't do these things. We don't say these things to the people that are closest to us because we assume they already know. We want them to assume because it's easier, because it's not so comfortable. Sometimes not affirming these things to the person because we don't know how we can open that conversation or something. But imagine a son having a successful father, or just like a strong figure, or, people respecting around him. That son might be yearning for just to hear once from their father that they believe in them, that I don't like the word proud because it's kind of like egotistical for me, but I haven't found any other word for that. But
even that they're proud of their son, that they believe in their son, that you can even like compliment one thing that they did. But I believe that what makes the difference is you believing in them and you saying this to them in a way that makes sense, in a way that is not like fake for them and they're like looking at you, what is he going to do now? But finding a way to express this stuff to them in front of other people, in front of other relatives, friends, when you're having a meal, them hearing this from you in front of other people too, so honoring them, that's almost like an initiation moment for a son to be a man. Like, I'm exaggerating, I know, but sometimes the smallest things makes the huge difference, because those smallest things are the things people never do. And it's easy to assume, that they know, blah, blah, blah. But it makes such a huge difference for someone to hear. And you might be surprised, like if you want to say one of these things, you might actually realize that you had resistance to say these things to your child. And you might just look at why you have the resistance, and that might give you so much insight about yourself as well. And I think it's these moments that we are here for. It's those moments of true connection and doing this in an honest, sincere way. And because people always know if it's sincere or not. You can practice this once and be sure that although it might be challenging for you, your child will never forget that moment. They will always keep it close to their hearts. So I will leave you with this today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this episode made you think about something, a situation that you were going through in your life with your teenager. And it made you just think of, well, wow, like there might be something in here about this. And you can just explore that and see what comes up. I love you so much. Thank you for listening. And I will see you on the next episode. My gorgeous listener, if you had any takeaways from this episode or from this podcast in general, I would love to know. Please share this episode with a few loved ones right now. You never know how they can benefit from something so small. And please take a screenshot of this episode and share on IG, tagging me at Khewella. That is Khewella. Khewella. That is my goddess wear brand, my Instagram page. I would love to know what your takeaway was, or something you found inspirational, or a confirmation you believe in as well. That would make my day. And you can always DM me if you have a topic or a certain question in mind that you want me to talk about. And give me a 5-star rating if you feel like it. That would help this podcast immensely to get the word out. I love you. See you on the next one. I want to see you shine your brightest.